Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Always good to be here.
Always good to have you. Always, always. Like I said, I want to talk. I like that we have our own personal check-in from time to time,
Yeah.
but I think, more and more dialogue like this is worth recording and sharing for the greater good,
I
so to
agree.
speak, right?
Yeah.
And like you were the first person that I had on the podcast that shifted the conversation to what it is now.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. That's
I
dope.
yeah, had done quite a few episodes with other folks, and it was just open, and we would talk about like whatever their interests are, or
Yeah.
but the conversation with you is the conversation that where it was first about a person's personal story,
Yeah.
and then their self-perception, and then
Yeah.
how that kind of shows up in choices and behaviors and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was a perfect example to me for that the
Yeah.
specific is universal. So I could have that conversation with everybody and be having
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
conversation every time.
Yeah. It's interesting because um I've I've always been very interested in self-discovery,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
anyone who has gone on a journey of self-discovery,
yeah.
and it never actually ends, but anyone who has
Hmm.
started their journey of self-discovery
Yeah.
realize it actually is pretty damn difficult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I say that to say, I think when we sat down 2 years ago,
Hmm.
I had just started working with an executive coach,
Okay.
and this my executive coach was a little bit different.
Okay.
He was all about sort of, if you're a leader or a
Hmm.
director,
Hmm.
here's what you need to do. But he intentionally spliced that with real lessons on self-discovery.
Hmm.
So like I had buddies of mine who had executive coaches who were all about, this is the raise you asked
Yeah.
for, and
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is,
yeah.
this is how you get your team
Right.
results. And I would tell them, like, I was crying during my executive
Hmm.
coaching
Hmm.
sessions. So I
Wow.
think I came into this conversation
Yeah.
in the midst of
Okay.
doing some of that work.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Fantastic timing. Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the executive coach. Um, that was powerful. Um, so yeah, like, in I've become more and more um, tapped in and interested in my own discovery and being present with myself step by step, like day
Mm-hmm.
by day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like with ambition and vision and capability and good self-esteem, a high self-esteem,
Yeah.
you can be seduced by living in the future and not
Yes.
being here on Wednesday. You know what I mean? And really taking in Wednesday and pouring out into Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As
Yeah.
opposed to like what I'm trying to build, what I'm trying to become, da da da. And I had this exchange really quick on Instagram. It's like me and a homegirl who just she'll send encouraging stuff to me, or clap if I post something and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But it's like super. Uh, it's just like a tap in, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So uh, she had commented on something or DM me on something, and I was shocked because I hadn't seen or heard from her in a while. And she was like, she's preparing for what she calls the I am, which is like,
Mm.
I'm not sure, I don't know exactly if she meant for God or for her own
Yeah.
uh, self mastery and self like expression and whatnot.
And sometimes
In
those are
that,
the same thing.
and sometimes they're the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, I told her I feel you, and I was like, the best preparation is being. Like, don't prepare to be it tomorrow. Be it today,
Yeah.
and let today's being it create what tomorrow looks like. But like, don't don't forecast.
Yeah.
Be it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a version or an expression of it today for
Yeah.
everybody, and that is the way you get to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like you got to just be presently aligned with it.
My my granddad used to say, and it's funny how these frameworks evolve over generations.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather used to tell me whenever I was like putting stuff off, he would say, "Don't put off for tomorrow what can be done today."
Mm-hmm.
It's always, I mean, it could be like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
finish taking the trash out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it would be something as minute as
Right.
that, but he would always be like, "Don't put off for tomorrow what can be done today."
Mm-hmm.
And that lesson has always kind of stuck in the back of my head. But I think today it translates to this idea that in reality, there is no tomorrow.
Right.
There's only ever today. There's
And right
only
now.
ever
Yeah.
this moment.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when we speak for myself, I have to catch myself sometimes because sometimes I'm thinking a week from now, I'm thinking
Yeah.
6 months from now, I'm thinking 5 years from now, and then sometimes life kind of hits you like a bag of bricks, and you
Yeah.
realize that
Right.
life is short,
Yep.
life
Yep.
is unexpected,
Yes.
and you have to live in the moment. And so that's that's a constant lesson I'm learning,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think it's real.
Yeah. Like I remember when I first, like when I was younger, I worked in an ad agency, and this is like print advertising.
Yeah,
So we were always working with magazines, magazines particularly, what I was doing. And magazines are typically produced 3 months out. All right. So they're
Yeah.
working on the June issue now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it really got me to like into the rhythm of like at scale things take time. You know what I mean? So and then there's people who are even further advanced or further forecast further in their
Yeah.
work and whatnot. It's like there are people who are working on 10-year plans and 20-year plans and
Yeah.
master plans and all these type of things. And then on the other end of it, there's like monks who just meditate all day because all you can ever be is present.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
that's the most present is if you're not trying to make anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even when they're making art or what have you, it's like a lot of like, have you ever seen those, the monks who do, it's like painting with colored sand?
Yes.
And they'll paint this
Yes.
whole ornate thing.
I don't know anything about it, but I've definitely seen it
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
And it's like this large, intricate, ornate thing. And as soon as it's finished, they wipe it away.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole point is, I can't remember the word right now, but the point is that nothing lasts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the point of it all. So even in the experience and exercise of making it, all that matters is the present.
100%.
It doesn't matter the completion, because as soon as it's completed, we're gonna wipe this thing off the table anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But all that matters is like the current moment.
Yeah.
And there is, for the vast majority of human beings, you've got to find where you live in between those two polarities. It's like if you're not making 50-year plans and you're also not meditating all day every day, like what are you doing? Where are you?
Well, I think you're hitting on two related but distinct points.
Mm-hmm.
The first is a question about focus.
Yeah.
We live in a world of distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day your phone is going off. There's the latest tragedy in the news. Yep. If you live in Newark, like we live in Newark, you walk outside and there's probably something going down. Yeah. And so it's actually quite hard to find something that straight up just focuses your attention. Even if I'm doing work on my laptop, I'm like doing a little bit of work and then I'm going to the New York Times or I'm going to Facebook to see what's going on, or I'm scrolling on Instagram for 20 seconds. And so you got to find things that capture your focus. Just because, one, I think your mental agility needs that. Two, your nervous system needs that. So that's like one thing. The other thing I think you're hitting on is this sort of planning for now and planning for the future. And you're right, like not all of us have the resources
Yeah.
or the patience to be monks
Right,
right now,
right.
and not all of us have the horizon to plan
Yep.
50 years from now. But what my balance is, at least, is I would be lying if I said I wasn't planning for a future.
Yeah.
But what I try not to save for some later date or some later time is the self-development work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I've heard people sometimes say, like, well, when I get to this point, I'll be more like this,
Yeah.
or I'll be more like that.
Right.
And I'm a person of faith, and one of the things we often talk about is, for whom can be trusted with little can be trusted with a lot.
Yes.
And the same thing applies to life. Like, don't wait until you some invisible future where you might have more time, more resources, or more whatever to be the person that you want to be, or to do the thing that you want to do. There's always room today to be working towards your best self.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah. You remind me of this talk I started to write out. So this is I'm gonna use this as my accountability check-in, right? I started writing this talk about how responsibility creates resources.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
And how, like, oftentimes, so on one level there is, at a divine level and the divine design of the universe, especially with human beings, responsibility is the criterion for resources, right?
Yeah.
And it might not look like that to everybody in all instances, right? People, do bad with their responsibilities also, but or are irresponsible. But eventually and ultimately, correction comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then even for human beings at our own societal level and how we design how we're gonna live together, we follow that same criteria of, like, the responsible get resources. If you want more resources, show yourself to be consistently responsible to the degree of those resources.
100%.
Right?
It's a dial, not a switch.
Right.
There's not gonna be a day where you wake up and everything changes like that. It's always a dial.
Yeah.
It's always about, how do I get 1% better every day? And then in turn, what you realize is that when you make that 1% improvement, sometimes 1% more comes back. You know what I mean? It really is a dial and not a switch. And so for me, it's like, how do I get just a tiny bit better every day?
And I think one of the easiest things for me is to be more aware of my dialogue, my internal dialogue, and then also, what I say to others.
Yeah.
But, like, if I can make all day a practice of doing what I said I was going to do, and if I just do that, it looks like I read a little bit of a book. I sent some emails or followed up on some things. I did some research. I cleaned this thing or that thing. Like, that's the person that I am every day. If I do those things, it's not a matter of the opportunity or the project or the, you know what I mean? The event.
Yeah.
It's like, just make yourself a person who is aligned with who you say you are and what you say you'll do.
100%.
And more of those things don't have an audience than the things that do have an audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
and I feel like I'm talking in cliches here, but, like, be impeccable with your word. Not just to external people, but to yourself.
Yes.
It's like you said, like, oftentimes I find myself on panels or, doing these interviews, and people ask, like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
How did this happen? And really, no, it's boring. It's honestly 95% of it is me being honest with myself every day. A perfect example, you and I talked about this in the past, is running. I've run marathons.
Yeah, shut up.
And I've had lots of people who have been like, you run a marathon?
Yeah.
Dang, man, like, how did you get there?
Right.
And the part that people don't see, you know, if you're outside, you see it, is literally, I would say, almost every Sunday for the past 10 years, I get up in the morning and I just run.
Yeah.
Rain, snow, sleet. And on occasion, I'm outside. Someone will see me. You've seen me once or twice.
Yep.
But I do it when no one's looking, when it's bad weather outside.
Yeah.
And so when it comes time to run the marathon, it looks like I got it only because I've been honest with myself in those dark days where no one's watching, or maybe when I didn't want to, or all of that stuff. So, and that extends, you know, to almost anything. It's like, yo, you gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah. And in many cases, you know, I think that's a great example of the reality that in many cases you don't receive position, you receive the title for the position that you're already showing yourself to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're already doing the thing or showing up that way.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, in one way or another, you get the designation of it.
Yeah.
It's like you already.
Yeah. It's like back in the day when black folks used to say, dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
Precisely.
It's the same principle.
Precisely. Yep. So since when we talked last on the couch, on, you know, here, you were saying like you had just started or were into executive coaching.
Yeah.
So professionally, I'm curious to talk about like how has your path evolved since then, and then what has that looked like by you to you?
Oh, it's been tough. I was working with that executive coach as I was transitioning into my first appointment as an executive. Now, I've worked with executives in the past, right? At one of my old companies, I worked under the COO, and that was great. But I had never been the principal myself. Yeah. And so, you know, a recruiting firm reached out, and I ended up being offered the executive director position for a voting rights nonprofit. And it was just before the 2024 presidential election.
Got it.
The nonprofit worked with young people, so college age students across the country. I think we were in 26 states. So it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a huge opportunity. I had sweaty palms. I was nervous. And I had a mentor say, get yourself an executive coach.
Okay.
Because some of it is like, there are nuances to leadership that just have to be learned. Yeah. But a lot of it is self-confidence, like being able to make decisions, being able to make mistakes. Being able to have a delicate balance between kind of humility and authority. Like these are all things that at least for me were very difficult.
Got you.
And so I had the executive coach, and we did a lot of work on insecurity in decision making. Like, where does that come from?
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
We traced a lot of it back to middle school basketball. But, but you know, like we did a lot of sort of unpacking about my ability to make decisions, stand on decisions, be okay with mistakes, all of that stuff. And so ended up leading the organization through the 2024 election, which was quite hard. So I found myself on campuses across the country, in the South and the Northeast, and you know, everybody's watching the news, so you know what the political climate is of our country, and trying to find as a nonprofit leader, encouraging young people to get involved. Trying to find ways to motivate them to do that was difficult, and it was taxing. And so I did that, and ultimately decided it was enough, and it was time to transition. And to this point about confidence, I wasn't quite sure what that transition was going to look like. Suffice to say, it was a tough transition. I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of self-confidence
Okay.
issues.
Okay.
But ended up transitioning, and God is so good because I wasn't quite sure what was next. But in earlier in the day, we talked about relationships and
Yeah.
power relationships. So like as soon as I left, I ended up getting calls and emails from old colleagues, old folks I used to work with who are like, hey, are you on the market now? And so started a small advisory consulting firm, mostly about nonprofit leadership, about for organizations that are doing democracy
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
small organizations that are looking to fundraise. And I didn't know anything about starting a business or entrepreneurship. But it kind of took off.
Yeah.
And like all other things, living in the moment, sometimes you don't get to plan everything in life.
Right.
Sometimes life just comes at you
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to build.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard you give a talk at NJIT.
Yeah.
One of the things, like I like to say now, is like, we're the grown-ups. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, it's crazy, right? But it's like the idea of looking up at folks older than us to give us permission,
Yep.
or give us access,
Yep.
or even give us knowledge. It's like that's not. Those things are all bonuses at this point.
Yeah.
But it's on us to go get it, whatever is needed, and to go do whatever needs to be done, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And as I'm listening to you at NJIT talk, and I'm realizing like, oh wow, there is a realization that these college students are having, that it's the moment where like somebody tells them like, now is your time to get involved.
Yeah.
It's your time now to get involved, and like it's like a threshold that they pass through of like engagement in their own civic life and environment and story. And it's like that can look differently for different people, but know that you are across the threshold now.
Yeah.
You're not here to be taken care of anymore. You know what I mean? That we're all adults now, and like it's time for you to get started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you haven't started already,
100%.
right? Not to say that none of them had started already, but hearing you say that so explicitly to them of like, get involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get involved might mean ask questions to somebody that you trust and whatever, but turn your attention to it.
Yeah.
And it shows up, elsewhere. I'm wondering, like, yes, the role in the organization, that was the work that you were doing. You know what I mean? But to your point also of in your self-discovery and your journey as an individual, the confidence that it takes to say that to a group of people. Because once you say that, you're
responsible for allowing it. So for those who are watching this, luckily me and you are tight. So there were several instances where I was speaking at places and you pulled up, and I appreciate that. But I had this speech that I went to a bunch of different campuses and I gave, and it was all about the power of young people. And the premise of it was, young people just in terms of demographics are some of the least involved group of people in civics and politics, whether that's young people just don't vote, young people don't show up to city council meetings.
right.
And they're, it's so funny because I was actually at Harvard last year. I got invited to Harvard because they have a whole research center. And they're talking about how, 2024 and some of these last elections have seen the lowest turnout in young people. And that felt at odds with the experiences I was having when I was going to college campuses.
Yeah.
And what I would find is young people were tapped in. They were like, what's going on in the world? Like, am I going to get a job after graduation? Am I, like, what's happening in my community? Even in Newark, young people care deeply about what's going on.
Yeah.
And so to me, there was a gap between what was being said about young people and what I got the sense was the desires of young people, which was to tap in. And so, to your point about permission, I think the other half of what I heard from young people is like, I care about these things, but I have no idea how to get started. And what that often translated to is that a lot of these young people were waiting for someone to go up to them and say, hey, walk through this door and it'll happen.
Right.
And so I just felt like it was my responsibility to let people know, like, the days of people opening the door for you are mostly gone. Lots of people open doors for you when you're a kid and a teenager, and even to some extent when you're young people. But eventually, people get busy with their own lives. Things happen, and those doors stop opening. And so young people have to demand a seat at the table. They have to walk through those doors. And even more than that, like what I was telling young people was like, you look at the history of this country, there has been no moment in the history of this country where we have made social progress that has not involved young people.
Right.
The best example is the modern civil rights movement. Dr. King started the Montgomery bus boycott when he was 28 years old. People forget because the photos are black and white, but Dr. King didn't live to see 40.
Right.
Did not live to see 40.
Right. Yeah, that's wild.
John Lewis was 17 when he left home. I mean, these were young people who were interfacing with presidents, who were changing national policy. So this idea that young people are supposed to kind of sit back and wait their turn is a recent false narrative. And so, and I got a lot of joy from telling young people, the world is your oyster. It's not just that I want you to get involved, it's that the world needs you to get involved. And that extends beyond just voting or just showing up at your city council meetings. Those are important. But that extends in life. We need young people to be entrepreneurs. We need young people to be creatives. We need young people to see themselves as decision makers.
Something else that raises is like young people are typically, especially of recent, the world didn't evolve at such a fast pace as it has more and more, to the present. So a lot of the doors, a lot of things that can be considered doors, the previous generations don't know how to open the current doors. They didn't have these doors. You know what I mean? Like if we talked about social media and the digital space. It's like, if you think social media is an aside,
100%,
and that your main dish is in person, you're mistaken. And not because in person is unimportant or even less important, but as far as resonance goes, the ability to connect with 1,000 at one time on the internet, what it takes to do that in person, to be in a room that can fit 1,000 people, for one, and then to actually be able to engage them. You know what I mean? Like that's almost impossible at a local level. We'll say, right? But the previous generations don't know the value of not only the Internet of Things and social media and whatnot, but also their iterations and evolution from their inception. Like,
wasn't as fast.
Facebook in 2020 and Facebook in 2026 aren't the same Facebook.
And our systems aren't designed to be optimized around digital life. As you said, like digital life, at least to the people in power, is seen as an accessory to the main dish and not the main dish. And it's so funny, just kind of relating it back to the young people piece. I was at Columbia, and there was this discussion about how, young people do all this stuff online, but they can't show up to a city council meeting, or they can't show up to a town hall meeting. And I think it's precisely your point. Young people care deeply about what's going on in the world. They just engage different than we do.
Yeah.
They engage in a way that our systems aren't capable of accounting for yet, right? Like, I tell people all the time, like, we used to talk about Barack Obama won the presidency on this idea that he was a community organizer and how important that was.
Yeah.
I've met so many young people who are community organizing, but just doing it digitally. To your point about, these folks, look how many people, these young people stream, they get tens of thousands of people watching them. If you go on Discord, like the level of conversation happening on Discord. If you go on a place like Roblox, I mean, even there's levels of advocacy and political engagement and civic engagement that's happening on platforms like that. It's just it all feels very esoteric to the people who make the rules now, which is why, for me, it's like, we need young people at the table. We need young people to demand seats at the table.
For sure.
Because this thing is moving, our world is changing, and quite frankly, I think we have a lot of dinosaurs in positions of power in this country in particular that do not care to adjust systems to account for that.
Right. Because it's one thing to say young people can't show up to a city council meeting. And then the conversation easily goes to like, well, when the city council meeting is on a Wednesday at noon, it's hard for anybody to show up to that. That's not a young people disconnect. That's a community disconnect.
100%.
How many people can be at City Hall
100%
on a Wednesday at noon?
100%.
You know what I mean? And if you couple that with lack of willingness to digitize the in-person meeting. It's like they would stream it. They do stream at noon on Wednesdays. They're watching things live.
I mean, even the way they're changing the economy, right? Like you have young people building entire careers off of being YouTube creators. You have young people building careers off of being professional gamers. You see tons of entrepreneurship. So young people they're designing their world.
For sure.
And I think there's this existing power and norm structure that exists that isn't even interested in trying to sync up with that. The perfect example is like this stuff about return to office. Like Gen Z and millennials being like, we don't need to go into the office, right? And all these studies also showing that people are actually more productive at home, and that when people get into the office, they end up kind of standing in the break room just talking and not being as productive as they were at home. And yet, you got these CEOs and leaders that are, insistent on coming back to the office. And so that's what I mean. Like, that's just a microcosm of like, there's a growing incompatibility here.
And like, as far as a return to the office thing, it's like a lot of offices are due to be audited for the culture in the building. Like, what are you asking people to return to? Is it something that encourages their best work? Is it something that encourages community among coworkers? Like, because we, typically in the corporate environments, not like the Google, campuses and spots like that, but like in the vast majority of corporate offices, they're built like 1989. And 1989 was not built for community. It was not built for people's best selves. It wasn't built for ideas. It was a different version of assembly line. Like these partitions in the middle and these offices along the wall. Yeah, like cubicles, like that stuff is for people to be cogs in a wheel. That's not for what today's market demands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are you asking people to come back to that and then villainizing them for not wanting to or being interested in it, while you also not meeting them in the digital space?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a way that's more connective and encouraging and accessible. Like, because you can.
Yeah.
You really, really can.
I mean, you look at what they're forecasting AI to do to entry-level jobs.
Yeah.
You look at growing inequality.
Mm-hmm.
It just the bridge is just getting wider, right? Again, between decision makers and everyday people.
Yeah.
And young people who feel left out of the decision-making process. And I applaud those in power who have certainly, and there are some who have gone out their way to make a space for young people and also just make a space for new ideas. Which is just as important. But there's not enough of that. And I think this, the chasm in our country is just growing because we haven't figured out how to marry those two things.
Yeah. And it's like the exclusion is leverage until the excluded create their own community. If you're just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got to contend with that.
Yeah.
But like,
you
got to be inclusive if you want to remain. Because 100%. The world is changing, because we're interconnected, and because the world is changing in favor of young people. And like that's objective. That is an objective truth that like the young people are more comfortable in what the world will be than old people are in what it is right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
1000%. And I get humbled by that.
Yeah.
As someone in their mid-30s, like I get humbled when I talk to 21, 22-year-olds who I say things and they're like,
right.
And I have a reality check. So, and I think some of it too is to your point about like, there's this old way of doing things that says, it's very simple. I'm older than you, so I know more and listen to what I'm saying. And one, I think that probably was always flawed, but it was accepted. And now I think young people refuse to accept that, accept the premise that because you're older than me, it automatically means that you have more to offer than me or that your insights are more valuable than mine. And I think young people are rejecting that, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the challenges we face in our city, in our country, in our state, is because we refuse to believe that there are valuable ideas almost everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I want to touch back on like the point that you made, in terms of what your executive coaching sessions surface for you was like the junior high school basketball, and particularly though, like currently, when you think of like the whatever your beliefs are, the limiting beliefs and the freeing beliefs, right? Like, how do you find yourself like managing and mitigating the belief versus conditioned limits and burdens, and like how you free yourself from them, even if they come from a real place and real experience and whatnot? It's like, but that's not today's Rashawn, so you're not subject to that.
I think well I'll literally explain it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think when limiting, the first thing is an acknowledgement that confidence
Mm-hmm.
is not a destination.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There are some days I feel very confident. Today is a day I feel really confident.
Good.
I woke up just feeling like
Yeah.
I can accomplish things.
Yeah.
Like I actually sent a pretty difficult email before I got here,
Okay.
right? Like, so
Okay.
it was
Right.
it's confidence.
Yeah.
And then there are other days where the confidence is low.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel a lot of anxiety and I feel a lot of self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first rule of thumb for me is to acknowledge that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That confidence is a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are some days where I'll have more of it,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some days where I'll have less of it.
Yeah.
And I need to give myself the grace.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's a day I just have less of it,
Mm-hmm.
especially if there's no time demand,
Yeah.
I'll just take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
I need a day to just kind of reset.
Yeah.
The second piece to this is, and this may not be the case for everyone, but it's the case for me. Those days where my confidence is low, it's often accompanied by other emotions like frustration, or doubt, or even anger. And this is where the coaching comes in. I have learned to not trust those emotions.
Yeah.
And what I mean by not trust those emotions is I have learned to interrogate them. Like you sent me, we had a bad meeting and you said something that made me angry. But before I react to you, what am I really angry about?
Yeah.
What am I actually angry about?
Investigate it. Yeah.
Like I need to investigate that.
Right.
Is it literally, and I literally will sit with myself and say, is it because of what he said? Or is it something deeper than that? Is it because, someone said something to me some time ago that triggered? And I know it almost sounds kind of obvious, but in the heat of the day, when things are happening on the fly, it's very easy to take emotions at surface level. And not just professional ones, but personal ones too.
For sure.
Like I have to be mindful of when me and my wife have a disagreement or I say something. I'm mindful, like, where is this emotion coming from?
Yeah.
And me and my coach would often go through this exercise. We would meet once a week.
Yeah.
And I would say, man, like, I had this meeting, with the board, or I had this meeting with this person and they said this, and I'm just, and he would literally just be like, we would start every session with a breathing exercise. Even if I didn't want to, like I would have these sessions like 4:00 on Wednesdays. Like they would be in the midst of the day. And I would just be wanting to talk about it, like, and he'd be like, yeah, okay, let's breathe.
Right.
And it would be a stop, and an uncomfortable stop. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Right.
And we would just spend the first, sometimes 10 minutes of an hour-long session just doing breathing exercises. And that just slows you down.
For sure.
And then I would say what was happening. Oftentimes it was some low confidence thing. It would be doubt. It would be frustration. And I would literally just interrogate that. Like, this person said something, or this thing didn't go right. Why are you upset about it?
Yeah.
And if something didn't go right, I would investigate it like, well, if this didn't go right, this other thing is also not going to go right.
Right.
And if this other thing doesn't go right, I'm going to get fired. And if I get fired, I'm going to end up on the street and I can't afford, And if I end up on the street, I'm never going to get that. And you go into this cycle and you interrogate kind of the whys to your emotion. And it just helps you handle them better. It doesn't mean you won't ever get those emotions, but it just means that to this point of self-discovery, like you understand yourself more and you're able to kind of put yourself in positions where like you can kind of mitigate some of that stuff. So a lot of it, and I'll say this too, and this is why having a third party, whether it's a coach or a therapist or a friend or a partner, is important, because especially when you first start doing it, eventually you're going to get to a place that you don't really want to confront.
Yeah.
That's just the human experience.
Yeah.
Everybody has something that is deep in them.
Yeah.
Maybe several things that are deep in them.
Yeah.
That they just don't want to open the door to, but that is often key to a lot of these emotions.
Yeah.
And so that's where, you know, the emotional sessions come out.
Yeah.
Right? Where you discover that this thing is connected to something that happened in 1998 or, 1991.
Right.
And unpacking that is hard. But once you unpack it, it's liberating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. It makes me think about how, like, in my own mind, I'm constantly reminding myself that life isn't happening to me.
Yeah.
And that I am happening.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not happening in response to life. I am as much of life as life that I experience.
100%.
You know what I mean? But in uncomfortable experiences or whatnot, you know, dealing with a client is not pleasant for one reason or another, or personal relationships, whatever. It's like, psychologically, I paint a picture in my head of I'm very small and they're very big, and they are imposing on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's this trick of switch feet, stand in the shoes of the big and see them as small and see them as a toddler trying to beat me up.
Yeah.
And how it's laughable. Like, I don't barely feel your punches. The fact that you're even trying is funny to me. And whatever happens, I'm going to be all right. You're not even tall enough to hit me where it would hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I just stay in that space, I then begin to think out like, okay, well then how does that person respond? They don't respond necessarily with crushing the baby so that it stops swinging. Maybe it's understanding that, oh, the baby's tired, hungry, needs a diaper change, whatever. It's like maybe they're acting out about something else that's completely disconnected to this and disconnected to me.
Yep.
And then maybe they don't actually mean me harm. And if I stand in the shoes of the giant, then I'm not counting for their blows.
Yep.
Like, what am I trying to do? You know what I mean?
It's a tool. It sounds like you have developed a tool that works for you. And that's, to me, like, we all need some version of that. Whether it's a metaphor device where we like, you know, are placing ourselves in a different situation, or whatever it is, it really is all about learning how to take a beat in the middle of some heat, and taking a step back and deploying whatever tool or thing that you have to analyze the situation and be like, okay, what's going to be my next step? Not made out of fear, not a step made out of doubt, not a step made out of insecurity, but a step made out of understanding.
And power. It's like, return my power to me. This
100%,
feeling of powerlessness, 100%. I'm suffering the feeling of powerlessness.
100%.
How do I return the feeling of power? And then what do I do with power?
And that,
because I don't beat up babies with power.
And that is that also is related to race and background.
Mm-hmm.
I, my granddad worked at Newark Airport for
Okay.
30 years. He
Okay.
worked at the Hertz Rent-A-Car
Yeah.
Center. He ran that for 30 years. Proud man.
Yeah.
Proud man. Loved his work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, another patriarch in my family was a custodian
Mm-hmm.
at Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Proud man.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but respect for
Mm-hmm.
him. And so for me, I was the first man in my family to lead the kind of life that I'm leading. White collar. And so I say that to say, especially in my younger years, I developed this psychosis that like, I'm just lucky to be here.
Yeah. Word.
Right? Like
Word.
whatever I get, I'm lucky to have. Because in another circumstance, I might be somewhere, sweeping up the floor, which is not to say there's anything bad about that, but just to say that's where my mind was at. And so to your point, like I had to go through this process of realizing the fullness of my own power.
Yeah.
How the experience of my forefathers made me strong.
Yeah.
And prepared me for this moment. And also the realization that, and I was actually telling this to a young lady at a conference I was at, because we were at this executive lunch together. She was just like, I belong here. And I had to remind her, like people reminded me, you belong in every room that you're in.
Absolutely.
And it sounds easy and accessible, but when you're actually living this stuff, you have to constantly remind yourself of your own power, your own value, and you also have to be able to, what we just talked about, interrogate your feelings and interrogate these emotions that you're having and be able to trace them back. Like, where does that doubt come from? Where does that anxiety come from? Where does that, where does the confidence issues come from? All of those things.
Yeah. Where would you say your like well of joy and encouragement, like where do you go to in your life and in your whatever daily practices or relationships or whatever to like just tap into good feelings that generate more of the Rashawn you want to be, as opposed to responding to discomfort and challenges?
Physical activity for sure. I just feel a release when I get a good sweat, when I'm outdoors, when I hike, all that stuff. And then, I recently, and my wife has helped me a lot with this, you also just quite frankly have to find places to be silly.
Yeah.
I feel like as grown Black men, when we're out in the world, we have to sometimes project a level of seriousness, and sometimes, the stuff you deal with is a lot. And, it's important, but is it the most important thing always? Probably not. So you gotta find places just to be silly. And I find that with my wife, who I'm very silly with. I find that with my dog, who he doesn't, trust me when I tell you, my dog does not care what I do for a living, how much money I make, what degrees. He does not care. He just wants you to pick this thing up and throw it, and he's gonna bring it back, and we're gonna wrestle for a little bit. And he's gonna lick your face. He don't care what time your next meeting is. So I spend a lot of time with my dog, and I'm just very silly with him. So you got to find, I think, a lot of those outlets. And then the other thing I would say is community. I don't need to say this because there are a bunch of studies that say it, but like Black men are struggling for a community.
Yeah.
And you have to find people just to literally be in proximity with. Like, let's sit down, let's have lunch. let's grab a steak somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
have coffee.
Yep.
Whatever it is, like you, we need to be in community, and I
Yeah.
think especially for me,
Mm-hmm.
like being a black male executive,
Mm-hmm.
I could count on my hand
Mm-hmm.
the number of I can count on one hand
Mm-hmm.
the number of black men I just have met in my journey
Yeah.
who can frankly relate to what I've been going through, that
Right.
can offer feedback. It's been few and far
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so the folks I have been able to find
Mm-hmm.
and develop community with,
Mm-hmm.
like you, because you and I talk a lot about this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, is valuable to me.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I just think and even if you're not an executive, like
Mm-hmm.
quite frankly, if you're just a black man trying to provide
Yeah.
or make a
Word.
way,
Word.
community is
Value.
valuable.
Yeah. 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 I appreciate that. I remember first hearing Alan Watts talk about how the essence of life is play.
Yes.
Like that is
Yeah.
what at the core of
And
all
I've
of
heard you
this.
say that on a
Yeah.
number of occasions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And play doesn't necessarily mean unserious. Like
Yeah.
when you play basketball, you're not goofing around up and down the court.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still play though. If you strike the right balance, it is playful enjoyment.
Yep.
And there is a degree of seriousness, a strong degree of seriousness, because it's like there's something that you're trying to do here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're not frolicking.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And yet the essence is play. The essence of music is play.
Yeah.
It's like you play songs.
Yeah.
You don't do songs. You don't work songs. You play songs.
Yep.
And I saw this clip. I'll send it to you of this this pianist, and I forget what the other instrument was, but they were playing this like really intricate, fast-paced piece. And this is in a concert, and this is like, tuxedo, black tie, you know what I mean, orchestra deal. And these two elderly men are playing, and they're playing together. And you see them at some point start to just play together.
Right.
And like the song ends and one of them starts an encore, like a freestyle encore, and the other one just has to like keep playing. And by their eye contact, you get that like, oh, they're just having some fun together right now.
Yeah.
But these are masters. These are master musicians. So like they've put in an awful lot of time and energy and work and discipline and consistency in the practice of playing this piano and playing
100%.
this, whatever the other thing was. But in this moment, we're going to play.
Yeah. And it's just good for the soul, man.
Yeah.
Like, I look at men of color older than me, and it hurts me sometimes because they have lived, many of them that I know have lived hard lives.
Yeah.
Being a grown black man in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s was not an easy thing by any means. And so now a lot of them are in their 60s and in their 70s and they're hardened. Not by choice.
Yeah.
But just because that is what life asked of them.
Yeah.
And I am a product of men who have made great sacrifices for me. Who have shouldered some hardness so that I could have some softness.
Right.
And I take that seriously. And as much as I, find myself in rooms and making decisions and looking at budgets and doing all this stuff, like I don't want to say I always make it a point, but I am trying to be much more conscious of the fact that like I need play, I need joy, I need to be silly.
Yeah.
Because so many people who look like me didn't have that ability. And not just black men, but women of color too. Like
Yeah.
So I see that as a privilege, and I take that privilege, and I also try to pass that privilege on. Like I when I'm with young people, especially young people I'm close to,
Yeah.
I tell them, I'm like, listen, you don't. With me in this context,
Right.
I don't need.
Yeah.
I don't need you to be on alert or at your best.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Word.
And so I have to remind myself of that. Like I got to get out here and do things and look silly and make mistakes. You know, my wife always tells me like, yeah, you need to find something to be bad at.
Ooh, that's such a.
And that's a crazy thing, but it's real. Like she's like, you need to find something to be bad at, and it's okay.
Yes.
And that she was telling me that for years, even before we got married, and I found that to be so difficult because my whole life I've just wanted to be good. I wanted to be excellent. I wanted to be better than you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And she's like, she's so unfazed with any of that. She's just like,
yeah.
What are you bad at?
Yeah.
Dance with me or do this thing.
Right.
I started taking like woodworking courses.
Okay.
I'm bad at it. I'm very bad at it.
I'm so happy for you, man.
I put the last course I took, I basically made the table upside down. And by the end of class, everybody else's table is right side up. My table was basically upside down.
Okay.
And it was permanently that way because I had drilled the nails in it.
Okay.
And I was so into it, and I looked up and I realized like my table was built upside down.
Right.
And I wanted to be upset about it, but then I was like,
yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And everybody was laughing, but it was a silly laugh. Like, So again, like finding those places to be bad at something, to be silly, to not take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, that's clutch, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you very, very much. I appreciate these times. I appreciate your generosity with your time and your perspective. Like,
absolutely. I appreciate you. I appreciate. Oh man, I don't even know how long we've known each other now, but definitely over a decade. And I feel like you are so concerned with the soul. Always have been. And that is a very unique and valuable thing. And I think that's what you're like a moth. It's like what brings people. You're like the flame from moths. It brings people around you.
Got you. Thank you.
So man. I always feel just a little bit more unburdened after our conversations. Yes, sir.
Thank you, bro.